Welcome, everyone, to our latest AMA session. Today, we welcome Michael Holdmann, founder and CEO of Prasaga, and his son Jacob Holdmann, our Director of Token Relations. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Today, we have a few topics to discuss, and afterwards, if we have time, we will open it up for questions from the community. First question I have today, and feel free to either of you answer or both of you answer, and that is, how about we take a few moments and let you introduce yourselves? What's it like working as father and son?
Alrighty, so my name is Jacob Holdman. I came over to Prasaga about a year ago, in November, so just coming up on a year. Graduated college a few years ago. Spent some time in traditional finance as a financial advisor. Have my Series 63 and Series 7, so registered broker dealer here in the United States. Have come over to Prasaga to help specifically with the token sale that we currently have going on, but also to help build out the ecosystem, helping to find those good projects and teams that will become a part of our ecosystem and make sure that we succeed as a chain.
All right. And this is Michael Holdman. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Really do appreciate it. Most of you know my story, but I'll go ahead and just quickly, I've been involved in this industry. I started pulling cable and installing phone systems in 1978. So I've been involved in the technology sector for that time, whether it be usually in sales, product strategy, and such, and spanning telecommunications, network, software. This company was started out of a need to free the world, basically. Was in the IoT space, have a very advanced Internet of Things and smart city web server, which basically connects devices to systems, control systems, and controls back and forth. After sitting on standards bodies for a couple decades, writing standards so that there's international open interoperability between, saw the demise or the failure of IoT, Internet of Things, because of all the walled gardens the large Web 2 companies wanted to build and control your data. They don't think you have the right to sell your data. They think that they have the right to take your data and sell it themselves and make the revenue. Didn't appreciate that. So came over here and started this in September of 2017. I see Jay Moore is also on, our co-founder, and he and I started writing a white paper in that month, and then Dave came on and started working, making sure that we were doing things that were accurate. Dave's very, very good at being accurate about statements, which is a good thing. And brought Jacob over. Specifically because he does have it's kind of funny because the old man is the one that brought the young kid into crypto instead of vice versa. Brought Jacob over because of the fact that he does have an understanding of regulatory needs in the US. We do not sell any coin in the United States. We have no guidance that would make me think that we can. We moved the technology out. We actually assigned the patents that we've received, and there's 2 of them so far, to the foundation. So the community actually owns the IP. But, and I have to have, when everybody does their KYC AML, which is necessary in order to participate in these stages, one of the countries that's listed, along with all of those sanctioned terrorist countries, like North Korea and Sudan and Iran and such, had to list the United States, which really tears me apart, being a 58-year citizen in this country now. But we just don't have a government or regulatory bodies that can make any decisions. So that's what it is. Jacob came over in order to make sure that even though we're not selling in the United States, make sure that we're keeping all of the proper records and such like that. So in case, as the SEC has done to others, they come and ask questions of us anytime in the future, we at least have all our books in order and such.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So the next item I wanted to mention was that Prasaga recently has been on a roll in terms of attending events all over the globe. We've done lots of sponsorships, meetings, speaking engagements, and we even had a booth at Mining Disrupt. So, what is the main goal from your perspectives for attending these events all around the world? You can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll start with that one, and then Jacob can carry on. The main goal is we have 4 communities specifically that we need to now bring on. We are getting close to having the ability to list our coin. Where our target is March of next year, 2023. I will tell you that we will push that if we're still in this down market. I do read the channels and such, the Telegram channel, and I know that is a concern of some people. Let's make sure we're in a positive crypto market, not this crypto winter that we're in right now. So we are watching that very carefully. So the communities that we have to attract are, of course, token purchasers with their private sale and the upcoming public sale, which will happen once our private sale is closed. And then we have to have the miners, or well, we call them block producers because we are a POS and POW chain. So every node will be a miner, and every node will have the ability to sign and stake. In order to have that signature, there will be 21 signatures or a prime number probably of nodes chosen from each shard. The shard will consist of between 128 and 256 nodes. Not sure exactly what that number is. It's either one of those two, and David will let us know that in the too distant future. So we need to make sure that we have enough node operators. We are in the sale right now where you're buying rights to participate as a node or stake a node operator during testnet. We're going to allow 1,000 nodes on. That's a manageable number for us in order to ensure, and this has to be a global network. We can't have everybody in one data center. So we have to ensure that in case things happen. One of the things that we don't find particularly easy in crypto is the understanding in other projects that the internet goes down in different countries or different regions at points, and it's called a partition. And the biggest challenge is what happens when that partition comes back. What if there's a fork? And it's, by the way, what one of our patents is on. So we want to make sure that we're stressing network as much as possible so that we know its limitations before we do list coin. So that's the reason for that, having that public test net and keeping it within 1,000 nodes. Once we satisfied that we are stable enough that we're not going to that we're not going to crash or have to restart our chain after we list, we will list the coin. So we do have those miners. The next one is developers. We are looking for developers to contribute to the project now that we do have the Saga Python released. We're looking for developers to join the foundation as well. We need Python and Golang developers internally and also contributing to the project. And you can register at code.prosaga.com/sagachain. Repositories are there. And you'll be able to see the source. It's available. It's not open yet. It's going to be up to you, the community, to vote once we are on mainnet, whether or not you want people to be able to fork this code. This is a full decentralized community-run project, and those decisions are going to be up to you. For right now, you cannot fork it. Anything you do, you have to contribute back to the community or to the project itself. The fourth is projects. We are looking for projects. We have been participating in 4 hackathons. 3 hackathons. We did the consensus hackathon, which results will come up next week. I think there's people will be pleased with what they hear about the results. We've heard now in New York City and also heard now in Korea. We have had 40 projects choose our platform. And out of I think there are 25 or 30 in the consensus one alone. There are 3 projects that'll be talked about next week when they announce. And then and that's kind of what we have. So we have those 4 pillars to the community to make this an actual growth. And so that's why we had the push out there. The very beginning of it was, yes, it was a lot of events that focused around purchasers. Token purchasers is what we call them. We had to attract them. We had to let them know that we were out here. But since I'd say about June is when we really shifted our focus more into, because the code is out and such, building those other communities. One thing that I can ask everybody on this call and that will listen to this call is please follow us on Twitter. Please follow us on all the other social platforms. Please go out and retweet every single time you see one. Repost every time you see an Instagram or other posts that we do. This is very vital to us. We are now talking to KuCoin, Gate.io, Republic, and Bitcoin Cease, the latter two for possible launchpad to do the public sale. But and there are other exchanges up higher up in the scale that are starting to engage with us. The way we're going to get listed, though, is to show support, engagement from the community. So I do have to ask everybody, please follow us and just tweet the hell out of everything and share the heck out of everything.
Yeah, and adding to that point, as you all know, crypto and blockchain space right now is a very global industry. Majority of the kind of building that is happening is actually happening outside the US, and so getting out to areas where it's really big, like Southeast Asia, Dubai, Europe, it's crucial for us to make sure that we're in those communities, talking to those people, and meeting the projects, the developers, the miners, where they all kind of concentrate at those points as well. But it's been a very good. We've had a lot of time to get our name out there and to meet a lot of people, and are really starting to see that in the ecosystem building. Seeing the projects that we've talked to over the last couple months, finally being able to give them something to work with.
Thank you both for those responses and that information. So along the lines of that, how do you feel we did raising awareness of the Prasaga brand and attracting developers and miners thus far?
I'd say it's a slow start. But it's also been, I can understand why. We really just came out of the gates not too long ago, right? We're having great conversations, but it still comes down to making sure that we're in the right channels, or we have the right people reposting those things that we're asking for. Getting people into the communities. If anybody has thoughts on communities we should be joining out there in the world, or in the Web 2 world, in the communities, please let us know. I would like to see more. We have a target of about 100,000 that we would like to see participating in our Telegram channel. Most layer ones do have that level. We have 10,000. And we want organic growth. We don't want it's not the vanity metrics where we just go out and buy participants or buy community members. So we really need to now do what the other chains have done, and that's to build those communities. I mean, I look at chains like Cardano and Solana and Avalanche, and there's some in those communities that, regardless of what they do, they can't fail. Those maxis. It's something that we really need to start to get here. Not necessarily the maxis to that point, but definitely need believers within here that want to get this out to the network and want to see this market grow, this project grow. So I'm encouraged by the element. I mean, Discord has grown very well over the past month or so. I'm very encouraged by what we have. We do have 30,000 basically in Twitter. Anything that anybody can do to help grow this community, please do participate and do that.
And yeah, I think we have done a good job at raising awareness, especially with developers and miners. And part of it comes to our very unique approach of both, with the Saga Python as our programming language, but also in our POS and POW hybrid system, and kind of the opportunities it gives miners. Recently in Singapore, talking to a mining company, they brought up a point about old ASIC miners, as we will be SHA-256, so ASIC miners will be able to mine our coin. those old ASIC miners that are just kind of sitting in people's closets right now will be able to be spun up and mine for our coins. So there's a lot of kind of repurposing and reusing that, especially on the mining side, people will allow to take advantage of. But additionally, on the developer side, it's really have gotten a lot of very positive feedback, even in just talking to people about kind of what the project is. So I think we've done a good job at raising awareness, especially in those two areas. We haven't been kind of driving that point for the longest time, but in the time that we have, we're starting to make a name for ourselves kind of in those communities.
Excellent. Well, and I can echo what you're saying. I'm seeing the growth myself as one of the leaders of the community, and yeah, I think it's going well and just continues to get better. Speaking back to a lot of the events that you've traveled to and visited around the world, can you share any conversations where people that you've met had an aha moment and really understood how much of a game changer Saga Chain will be?
Yeah, and it's a difficult to get an aha moment. I mean, the thing everybody has to realize is that we are a very complex and technical platform. So a lot of people within this industry aren't as technical, and kind of I can see their the blank, their faces going blank, and I get it because this is, trust me, I was on the phone 6 hours a day for 4 years straight with David Beaverman. You want to talk about somebody going with a blank face, but it was a process that I had to do because that's how David works, how he thinks. He talks about it, and he really understands to really understand, and through conversation really gets there. So I understand the problem, or the kind of the issue that we have with really being able to tell people, get through to people what this is. I mean, this is a game changing. This is things like, we took MS-DOS, which is what smart contracts are, and I don't know how many people in here actually know what MS-DOS is. That used to be Microsoft's operating system, all command line. You typed in, you could run one program at a time. Once you were done with that program, you had to exit the program through command line, and you could open another one. What they did, and what all others did, Microsoft or Mac, Linux, and others, is moved into a Windows-based environment. Whether it be Windows or Mac OS 10 or Linux or anything, those are all Windows-based environments, not Microsoft Windows-based, but they have multiple windows where you can run multiple applications. That's what we did to blockchain. We took the exact same architecture that they used in order to achieve that, and we just did it to blockchain. Smart contracts are MS-DOS. You can run one at a time. They're serialized. We just introduced Windows where you can do processes in parallel. Now, where the aha moment comes, because that's hard for people to kind of grasp, is when we actually show our automotive demo. So we have a visual, and everybody can look at it. It's on our YouTube channel. It's been out for quite a while. We were asked by Bosch Engineering to show them if there's any way that we could ever do auto supply chain on a blockchain. And the answer is yes. They hadn't seen that yet because every time they failed, or every time they've attempted, they failed to do anything more than just simple track and trace. That's why IBM got out of blockchain completely in early 2021. They could not give the customers the complex processes that were necessary and beneficial to their customers. So they completely got out. Gary Singh, who is chief architect of IBM blockchain platform, is over at Google now. Jason Kelly, who is a general manager of blockchain on the global services side, does not have blockchain in his title anymore. What we've done is we've satisfied the market in terms of being able to do more complex processes. And when you look at that, you understand, when you watch this video, it starts to become clear what is capable by just eliminating smart contracts. One of the biggest things, and this is kind of where our messaging is starting to go now, on the function that we have. And one of the biggest things is the digital ID. or a decentralized digital ID that some people are trying to create. That is inherent. It's native to our platform, to the architecture that we have. Bill Gates has put 1.27 billion into the UN for their global goal, specifically around digital IDs. The WEF awarded a $105 million contract to Canada to build a digital travel ID. Well, those organizations want it so that they can track where you travel all the time, what you do, and they can start to control that. We all know what's happening with central banks out there now. China's saying, hey, we're going to put an expiration date on your coin. You're never going to be able to save again. If you don't spend it within a certain amount of time, it's going to be gone. That's what we rectify. But the biggest start of it is a digital ID, a 256-bit string of random characters that won't be repeated for billions of years. And that is guaranteed. We do check on it to ensure that that number is not out there already. That will always be your ID. Any asset you have will have an ID that's tied to your ID. Even if you sell that asset to someone else and you actually physically move that asset over via the ID, it still tracks back through you to where it originally started. So we always know where it came from. We always know where it went to. And I guess that's really the aha moment, is seeing that video and understanding just what I said, but in a visual sense.
Yeah, definitely seconded on the video demo. One thing that I've really kind of run across is, especially when talking to developers and people who have some sort of experience in more Web 2 project or program-oriented languages, is the use of Saga Python, the switch to a programming language that is many more people know. Especially being able to do it outside of a smart contract platform where it's not just smart contracts managing smart contracts or an API built onto the chain. We've gotten a lot of very positive feedback, especially from developers, because they start once they've started to look at the code, they realize exactly what they can do. They can do much more complex coding and development than compared to a smart contract platform, just because of the kind of the nimbleness of our code in the object-oriented language.
Thank you both for that. Appreciate it. So the last question that I have on my list is actually regarding some non-crypto events that are happening later this year. Events centered around the medical and automotive industries, which could both benefit from Pasaga's supply chain solutions. Will we be attending those as well? And what can you tell us about that?
Yes, we will be attending those. That is the biggest thing we have. Now, I have always said, and I don't know if anybody got to see I was interviewed yesterday on Trade Talk, NASDAQ. That's what I'm here in New York for, as well as New York Tech Week. We strongly believe that the way that the internet became a consumer-based and grew outside of technology and stuff was actually through enterprises, trusted brands, bringing utility to the average consumer. And that's where we are right now with blockchain. 4% of the world participates in this industry. We're focused on the 96% of the world outside of it. We do some of that 4% because those are the current total purchasers. But how do we engage the rest of the world? How do we create that, which is our ultimate goal, that platform that is the underlying foundation for all global transactions, financial or other, and backed by a method of exchange that, although it will be on secondary markets and such, we're also going to ensure that internally in the economy, it has stabilized purchasing power. So you can be assured if you accept it today for services you give, it'll hold the value tomorrow or when you sell services. One of the biggest issues that we see right now in this industry, Satoshi Nakamoto started this to have P2P transfer, right, person to person, so that you could send money without over borders, without having the SWIFT and the ICANN or the Western Unions and other companies of the world charging 30% in order to do so. And it was hijacked by Wall Street because a lot of people, traders, found that, found a unregulated, highly speculative asset that they go out and trade and not have to have any worries about SEC or any ministries of finance and such like that, at least for the first few years. Although, again, there will be a secondary market for the coin. The ultimate goal is to have that, to bring the entire world into commerce here. Bring the entire world into the it being able to participate, right, within a global commerce and not have to worry about, are my dong, I have enough in order to purchase goods from another country. In many cases, Vietnamese dong don't have that ability because the dong, like, what is it? 1 million dong is about $300. So there's purpose to this entire project. We are here to serve all 8 billion people, which we've architected for, every entity and all products that will be produced, and give it, as I stated earlier, a decentralized digital ID that is assigned by the blockchain when you go to add whatever asset that is, whether it be your account or an asset that you have or that you're purchasing. That won't be read for billions of years. So you know that you will be able to reference that item. If it is Google, fully decentralized, because we're indexing every single database in the world. Unlike Google, where they're saying, we're going to put all your data on our servers so you can go in and farm your data and sell whatever we want of it or keep whatever we want of it. This is a way that, no, keep the data on your servers, keep it secured and safe there. We'll just index it and allow it so that you have the control over who has access to that and what they can do with it. So that's kind of where the mission of this is, and what we're really focused on here. So again, any help there really is purpose behind this entire project. This is not just about having another speculative asset out there or putting out something that really doesn't have utility to the average person. Because right now we just don't see any other chains.
Yeah, and on top of that, ever since I got into crypto and blockchain back in 2016, I've always kind of seen all of the advantages of the actual technology, and it's never really been packaged or portrayed in a way to help out enterprise. It's always been very individual faced, giving incentive and power back to the individual user. However, the technology itself has so many different applications, and is really kind of, as we always stress, we're just an infrastructure. We're providing the technology for you to be able to solve the problems and find the solutions that you need to do. And so that's one of the reasons I think it's very important to target enterprises, because there are so many problems that the blockchain does solve. We've been able to put together the technology that they will be able to finally take full advantage of blockchain and all that it has to offer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And regarding the NASDAQ interview that Michael mentioned, we will be sharing that within the next hour. So keep an eye out for that. And we actually reached the end of our list of topics for today, and I don't see any questions from anyone on this call. So I will say thank you, Jacob and Michael, for your time today. I know you're both super busy, so we're extra thankful you had time to spend with us in this AMA. And thank you also to all of our community members for attending. Stay tuned for more AMAs in the very near future with more of our team members and others. And until next time, have a great day and weekend.